أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one and only God. Peace and blessings be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, whom no other prophet will come after him. La ilaha illallah Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. There is no God to worship but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is his servant and a messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Surah As-Safat 37, verse 99 to 100, he later said, I am living in obedience to my Lord. He will guide me. My Lord, grant me a child from among the righteous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in these verses that when Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam migrated from the land of his people, he supplicated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant him a pious son. He then answered his prayers and gave him a glad tidings of a forbearing son. He was the first child of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam when he had reached the age of 86 years old. The earliest sages of our Prophet's nation disagree about which of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam's two sons it was that he was commanded to sacrifice. Some say it was Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam, while others say it was Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. In his book, History of the Prophets and Kings, At-Tabari wrote very extensively and in great details all of his findings and the different opinions amongst other interpreters and scholars about this matter. So to not get confused, I'm going to stick with the one that the majority of scholars agreed with. In Tafsir As-Sa'di bin Sheikh Abdul Rahman As-Sa'di, yani teacher of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymin, he mentioned that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was in despair of his people and did not see anything good in them. So he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant him a righteous son, by means of whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would benefit him during his lifetime and after his death. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then answered his prayer in Surah As-Safat 37, verse 101. So we gave him good news of a forbearing son. Imam As-Sa'di continued, this was undoubtedly Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, because when Allah mentioned the glad tidings of Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam, he mentioned his son, yani Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, after him. In Surah Hud 11, verse 71. And his wife was standing by, so she laughed. Then we gave her the glad tidings of Ishaq, and after Ishaq, of Yaqub. This indicates that Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam was not the one who was to be sacrificed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described Prophet Ismail alayhi salam as forbearing, which implies that he was patient, had a good attitude, was big-hearted, and was forgiving towards anyone who caused offense. Ibn Khatir said, when Sarah laughed in delight of the good news of the destruction to the people of Lut that had caused so much corruption and their disbelief was severe, for this reason she was rewarded with the glad tidings of a son, even after her despair. Concerning Allah's statements, yani, and after Ishaq of Yaqub, this means that the son that she was going to have would have a son, yani her grandson, who would succeed him and beget many children. For verily Yaqub was the son of Ishaq, just as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah 2, verse 133. Or did you witness when death came to Yaqub? He asked his children, who will you worship after my passing? They replied, we will continue to worship your God, the God of your forefathers, Ibrahim, Ismail, and Ishaq. the one God, and to Him we all submit. From this verse, it is evidenced for those who say that Prophet Ismail alayhi was the son of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi who was to be sacrificed. It could not have been Prophet Ishaq alayhi because the glad tidings were given that he, yani Prophet Ishaq alayhi would have a son born to him named Yaqub. So how could Prophet Ibrahim alayhi be commanded to sacrifice him, yani Prophet Ishaq alayhi when he was a small child, and also he had promised from God about Prophet Ishaq alayhi's future, yani born to him a child named Yaqub. The promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is true, and there is no breaking of Allah's promise. It was indeed a severe trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Earlier on, when his only son, yani Sofa at the time, was just an infant, he was ordered to settle them, yani Prophet Ismail alayhi salam and his wife Hajar, in a valley where there was no human or any vegetation. He carried out Allah's order and left them where he was ordered to leave them, after having full faith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would take care of them. Then Allah saved them and gave them provisions from where they could not imagine. Then later on, he was ordered again, but this time to sacrifice the same son when he had reached an old age. He responded to Allah's order and fulfilled it. In fact, he hastened to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Surah As-Safat 37, verse 102. Then when the boy reached the age to work with him, Ibrahim said, "O my dear son, I have seen in a dream that I must sacrifice you. So tell me what you think." He replied, "O my dear father, do as you are commanded. Allah willing, you will find me steadfast." According to Ibn Humayd, Salama, Ibn Ishaq, and certain scholars, when Prophet Ibrahim alayhi was ordered to sacrifice his son, he said to him, "O my son, take the ropes and the knife and let us go to this trail and gather firewood for your family there." He did not at this point mention anything about what he had been told to do. When he headed for the trail, Iblis, the enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, stood in his way in the form of a man in an attempt to dissuade him from carrying out God's command. He said, "Where are you going, old man?" Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam answered, "I'm heading for this trail for something I need in it." Iblis said, "By God, I think that Satan has come to you in a dream and commanded you to sacrifice this little son of yours. So you're about to sacrifice him?" But then Prophet Ibrahim alayhi recognized Iblis and said to him, "Go away, O enemy of Allah. By God, I am obeying the command of my Lord in this matter." Then Iblis despaired of dissuading Prophet Ibrahim alayhi and appeared to Prophet Ismail alayhi, who was walking behind Prophet Ibrahim alayhi carrying the ropes and the knife. And then Iblis said to him, "O lad, do you know where your father is taking you?" Prophet Ismail alayhi answered, "To get firewood for our family from this trail." Iblis said, "By God, all he wants is to sacrifice you." Prophet Ismail alayhi asked, "Why?" Iblis said, "He claims that his Lord commanded him to do it." Then Prophet Ismail alayhi said, "Then let him do what his Lord commanded. To hear is to obey." When the boy refused to have anything to do with him, Iblis went to Prophet Ismail alayhi's mother, yani Hajar, in her dwelling and said to her, "O mother of Ismail, do you know where Ibrahim has taken Ismail?" She said, "He took him to gather wood for us on the trail." Iblis said, "He took him only to sacrifice him." Hajar said, "Never. He is too merciful to him and loves him so much for that." Iblis told her, "He claims that God commanded him to do it." She then said, "If his Lord commanded him to do it, then one should surrender to the command of God." So the enemy of God returned enraged, for he had not achieved anything with the family of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. They had all refused to deal with him by Allah's help, and they had agreed with God's command, saying, "To hear is to obey." When Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was alone with his son on the trail, a trail on Mount Thabir, it is said that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam said to his son, "O my son, I saw in a dream that I was to sacrifice you. So consider, what do you think?" Prophet Ismail alayhi salam told him, "O my father, do as you were commanded. God willing, you will find me steadfast in faith." Prophet Ismail alayhi salam said to him, "O my father, if you want to sacrifice me, tighten my bonds so that nothing of me will strike you and lessen my reward. For death is mighty, and I am not sure that I will not move with it when I become aware of its touch. Sharpen your knife blade so that it will finish me off quickly and give me rest. When you lay me down to sacrifice me, turn me with your face down. Do not lay me on my side, for I fear that if you look at my face, pity will overcome you and hold you back from carrying out God's command. If you think that taking my shirt back to my mother may console her for my loss, then do it." Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam said, "How will you help me, my son, in carrying out God's command?" Then he bound Prophet Ismail alayhi salam as he had said, and made him fast and sharpened his blade. Then he laid him down on his front to guard his gaze from his face. Then he plunged the blade into his son's throat, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned it on its backside in his hand. When he pulled it back and forth to complete the act, the words were proclaimed, "O Ibrahim, you have carried out the dream. This victim is yours as a ransom for your son, so sacrifice it instead of him." In Surah As-Safat 37, verse 103 to 104. Then when they submitted to Allah's will, and Ibrahim laid him on the side of his forehead, ya'ni for sacrifice, we called out to him, "O Ibrahim, we have already fulfilled the vision." When both of them had pronounced the Shahada and remembered Allah, because Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was about to offer a sacrifice and Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, he was about to die. Or it was said that submitted themselves means that they submitted and followed the command of Allah. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam obeyed the command of Allah, and Prophet Ismail alayhi salam obeyed Allah and his father. This was the view of Mujahid, Ikrimah, Qatadah, As-Sudi, and Ibn Ishaq and others. The meaning of the phrase, "and he had laid him prostrate on his forehead," is he placed him face down so that he could slaughter him from behind and not have to see his face at the time of the slaughter, so that it would be easier for him. Imam Ahmad recorded that Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, "When the rituals were enjoined upon Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, the shaitan appeared to him at the mas'ah and raced with him, but he got there first. Then Malaikah Jibril alayhi salam took him to Jamrat Al Aqabah, and the shaitan appeared to him, so he stoned him with 7 pebbles until he disappeared. Then he appeared at Al-Jamra Al-Wusta, and he stoned him with 7 pebbles. Then he laid him prostrated on his face. Prophet Ismail alayhi salam was wearing a white shirt, and he said, "O my father, I do not have any garment in which you may bury me except this. Take it off me so that you can bury me in it. He started to take it off. Then he was called from behind. In Surah Al-Safat 37, verse 104 to 105. We called out to him, O Ibrahim, you have already fulfilled the vision. Indeed, this is how we reward the good doers. Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ then turned and saw a fine, horned, white ram. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, it was a ram which had been grazed in paradise for 40 years. And he added, he used to look for similar types of rams. According to Ibn Bashir, Abdul Rahman, Sufyan, Ibn Qutaym, Sa'id bin Jubair, Ibn Abbas. The ram which Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ sacrificed was the ram which the Prophet Adam ﷺ's son, Yani Habil, had offered up, and it was accepted from him. Imam Ahmad recorded that Safiya binti Shaybah said, a woman from Bani Sulaim, who was the midwife of most of the people in our household, told me that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ sent for Uthman bin Talha radiallahu anhu. On one occasion she said, I asked Uthman, why did the Prophet call you? He said, the Messenger of Allah said to me, I saw the horns of the ram when I entered the house, yani the Kaabah, and I forgot to tell you to cover them up. Cover them up, for there should not be anything in the house which could distract the worshipper. Sufyan said, the horns of the ram remained hanging in the house until it was burned, and they were burned too. This offers independent evidence that the one who was to be sacrificed was Prophet Ismail ﷺ, as there is no proof to suggest that Prophet Ishaq ﷺ ever came to Mecca in his childhood. The Quraysh had inherited the horns of the ram that Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ sacrificed, and they had been passed down from generation to generation until the Messenger of Allah ﷺ was sent, and only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. According to Ibn Humayd, Salama, Ibn Ishaq, Al-Hassan bin Dinar, Qatadah bin Di'amah, Ja'far bin Iyas, Abdullah bin Abbas. A ram came forth to him from the garden in which it has been grazing for 40 autumns. So Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ released his son. The ram followed him, and he took it to the first stoning place and threw 7 pebbles at it, then set it free there. Then he took it to the middle stoning place and threw 7 pebbles at it, then released it. He caught up with it at the great stoning place, and again threw 7 pebbles at it. Finally, he took it to the slaughtering place of Mina and sacrificed it. By him in whose hand is the soul of Ibn Abbas, when Islam began, the ram's head and horns were hanging on the downspouts of the Kaabah. Thereafter it became debased, that is, dried up. In Surah As-Safa 37, verse 112, we later gave him good news of Ishaq, a prophet and one of the righteous. Imam Ibn Khatib wrote that the opinion suggesting that it was Prophet Ishaq ﷺ and not Prophet Ismail ﷺ has come from Judaic tradition, and it is known that their books have been tampered with. It is mentioned in the Torah, Allah commanded Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ to sacrifice his only son. However, in another version of the Torah, it says that his only son was Prophet Ishaq ﷺ. This, of course, is a lie, since it is a description of Prophet Ismail and not Prophet Ishaq ﷺ. According to Ibn Humayd, Salama, Muhammad bin Ishaq, Buraidah bin Sufyan bin Farwah al-Aslami, Muhammad bin Ka'ab al-Qurazi said that he asked the Caliph Umar bin Abdul Aziz about the matter when they were together in Syria, and Umar told him, "I have not looked into this matter, but I do not think it is as you say." Then he sent for a man whom he had with him in Syria, a former Jew who had converted to Islam and became a good Muslim. He was considered to be one of the great Jewish scholars. So Umar bin Abdul Aziz decided to get his view about the matter. He asked him, which of his 2 sons was Ibrahim commanded to sacrifice? The man answered, "Ismail, by God, O Prince of the believers. The Jews know that, but they are envious of you, O Arabs, because it was your father who was named in God's command, and to whom God ascribed such merit for his steadfastness in obeying God's command. They rejected that and claimed that it was Ishaq, because Ishaq was their father." Imam Ibn Khatir continued, "The driving factor behind the tempering of this particular piece of information was the hatred of the Jews towards the Arabs. Prophet Ismail alayhi salam is the father of the Arabs who live in Hijaz, among whom is the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam, however, is the father of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, also known as Israel, from whom the Jews came. So the Jews wanted to take this nobility from the Arabs by introducing this lie. In effect, what they have done is to change the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they have not accepted that the goodness and nobility are in Allah's hand, and He gives it to whoever He wishes. There are many Muslims who also followed this opinion and said that it was Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam who was sacrificed. It seems, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, that they took this opinion from Ka'ab al-Ahbar or from the Judaic scriptures. There is no authentic hadith from our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to show that it was not Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, nor the Quranic text that leads to this conclusion. We have the clear words of the Qur'an, which, if thought over, show that the sacrificed one was Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. One of the most sound evidences used to show that Prophet Ismail alayhi salam was sacrificed was deduced by Ibn Ka'ab al-Quradi from the part of a verse in Surah Hud 11, verse 71. And his wife was standing by, so she laughed. Then we gave her good news of the birth of Ishaq, and after him Yaqub. He said, "How could the glad tidings be about Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam, and that he will later be father of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam?" And then Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam is ordered to sacrifice Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam while he was not even born. It of course is not possible, since it contradicts the glad tidings mentioned, and Allah knows best. It was clearly the most difficult of tests, that is, through which the purity of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, his love for his Lord, and the fact that he was indeed the close friend of Allah were made manifest and became clear. When Allah bestowed Prophet Ismail alayhi salam upon Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, He loved him dearly, but he was also the close friend of the most gracious, Khalil ar-Rahman, and close friendship is the highest level of love. It is a level of love in which there is no room to love anything else, a level which dictates that one to be attached to one's beloved with all of one's heart. As part of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam's heart became attached to his son, Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to make his entire heart attached to him and to test how sincere and strong the bond of close friendship was. So He commanded him to slaughter the one whose love had competed with the love of his Lord. But when Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam gave precedence to love of Allah over his own desires and resolved to slaughter his son, all attachment to competitors was removed from his heart, whereupon there was no longer any benefit in slaughtering him. Surah As-Safat 37, verse 106 to 107. There was truly a revealing test, and we ransomed his son with a great sacrifice and blessed Ibrahim with honorable mention among later generations. Wallahu alam bisawab. Ya Allah, please teach us knowledge that is beneficial to us. Let us take advantage of the knowledge that you pour onto us. Please give us knowledge, good deeds, and sincerity in our lives. May we receive mercy and guidance from you, Ya Allah. Please increase our iman and ilmu so that we can pass them down to our children, family, friends, and all our loved ones. Until my next video, inshallah, please take care and be kind to one another. Jazakumullahu khairan and shukran.